Hey everybody, this is Danielle, and today in this video, I want to talk to you all about how one of the ways it's for a very specific group of women. And I don't know if everybody's going to relate to this, of course, but I did want to talk about a very specific group of women and how you can stay healthy. Um, and so for that specific group of women, this is for women who have PCOS, which is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. Okay. Again, this is my name is Danielle Leviston, and this is my channel about all things small business, side business, creative business, service based business related. I am the owner of Painting and Poppin' Traveling Paint Parties LLC, which is a mobile paint party business. I also do business coaching for early on entrepreneurs who are interested in creating just businesses altogether, but more specifically service-based businesses who might be in the creative realm. So if you have questions, you can contact me. My contact information will be in the description. And I am based in the Chicago area. And one thing that I really want to start, like I want to start a health series. I probably call it like health break, because staying healthy mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally is so important as an entrepreneur. So, especially, well, I won't say especially, but for those of us just starting out in our entrepreneurial careers, and who have full time jobs, like I am a full time educator. I teach in public school systems, and I'm also I have my side business. It's a lot of juggling. So staying healthy is really important to me. Now, what I want you to do before we go any forward, I want you to like this video, and I also want you to subscribe, and I also want you to share this video to other women who might be dealing with this particular health issue. And so even if you're not a business owner, I think that this, of course, will be beneficial to anyone who's dealing with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, unfortunately, this is a very informal video, also, by the way. I did not get it up here and do a bunch of research. So you can actually do more research on your own as far as to what PCOS is and, what are the symptoms and signs and what can happen. I know my own version of that because of my own story. So, but basically, it's health, like that's the color syndrome, but a health issue where it's a condition where it could make it difficult for certain women to naturally conceive, because it's a hormonal imbalance, basically. So if certain levels, like with this condition, you'll hear androgens and testosterone, and of course progesterone, um, estrogen. It's like a mix of those male hormones and those female hormones, kind of like they don't know where to go. So I'm not a scientist, also, so I can say this more eloquently sometimes when I'm looking at the information, but some symptoms of it, sometimes you will have, as a woman, like excessive facial or body hair, which can be very annoying and can very much impact your mental health. Um, you can have like delayed um, periods when you're on your, of course, I think of the menstrual cycle as the entire month. So I don't say when you're on your menstrual, right? But I do use the term period. Um, so it might be like delayed, or it can be very inconsistent. And so these are all indicators that, like, okay, something's wrong here. The other thing with PCOS is sometimes you can, like, depending, I think, on your body type and how much of your hormones are affected. Like, you can be overweight, so you can carry weight in certain places. Most of us who are like I have a pretty petite frame, but I got a little midsection. um, so a lot of times you'll notice it in like the midsection, which actually, like for women that have fibroids, that's something that alerts them as well. But you don't have to have fibroids to have PCOS. So those are two different things. But that's something to check into anyway. So the stomach area is usually impacted. Um, so yeah, it's some other things. Of course, I talked about issues with infertility, but and it's one of those things where I've learned at least that every issue, every health condition, people try to not people, but it may seem like it's one and done. Like there's nothing that can solve the issue. But more recently, I've been seeing so much more information about um like different herbal medicines that you can take, or just like herbal teas. There are different companies that are coming up with their own um ingredients in their teas that really target this condition. And that's great. This is great information to have. These are great things to know. But the thing is, it's not just one way to solve the issue. So when I was younger, actually not too long ago, I for the longest time I was taking birth control. And of course we take birth control for actual birth control, right? But taking birth control actually um it actually helped my PCOS symptoms. And I was also taking another medicine. I won't really get into that, but I was taking another medicine. Some of you who have PCOS might already, but it was a medicine that helped women with thyroid issues. So that actually helped with my PCOS symptoms. I wanted to get off of medicine though. So a few years ago, a couple years ago, I I stopped. I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was fine for a while. And then I noticed maybe like 6 or 7 months into it, I started to see the reversal of the the birth control and the medicine. And I was like, oh gosh. So like while I was on the medicines and everything, like my weight, it was so I always have to work to get like my midsection down, but it was easy. It was like I was in the gym. I was really doing a lot with my eating habits. I was flipping and changing all that up. But sometimes even when I stopped, if I was still consistently working out, it still helped. And what I noticed was I was working out and nothing was happening. And I was like, oh my God. So there were other issues going on too. I was having like issues with my stomach. So you just really overall have to make sure you're in good health. Um, but yeah, I was kind of getting discouraged because at that time I was still continuing to work out, but I just felt like nothing was really working. I also, and like I tend to gain a lot of weight up here, um, up top. And I felt like the things that I was doing, it wasn't really helping. So I was getting discouraged and not really working out like I should. So yeah, it can be very discouraging. So I want to talk to you all about some things that I've been doing to get my health together without like taking medicines. And I'm not trying to sway you either way. But one thing that we have to do as entrepreneurs, owners of businesses, especially those of us who like we're still working full-time jobs, like we have to make sure that our health is together. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that I've been doing to help with my PCOS symptoms, and my just like my weight loss, right? and staying toned and in shape. So first of all, I had to get back to working out, and I've always like been consistent with working out. It's just that sometimes I would take dips, and then a dip would go for like a month, and whatever. So I recently had a dip maybe in the end of October to the beginning of November. And it really wasn't a full month. It was like a few weeks. And I noticed that the dip in working out, the lack of working out led to um, a lot of stress, mental fatigue, some anxiety, some depression. So I was like, okay, I got to shake this off. So the first thing I did was I got back into the gym. And I can't make it to the gym every single day, but I try to get in the gym at least twice a week, and then I work out at home as well. There are some weeks when it's a less busy week where I can be in the gym more than 2 times. Like recently, I think I did like 3 days in the gym, and then I'll do like 2 days at home. But I would just want to say working out in general is really, really good. And the thing that you have to do is you have to lift. You have to lift weights. Um, I walk. I'm big on walking, and I love walking in the spring and summertime. So I like walking on a trail. But I got back on that treadmill too. The treadmill really helps. I might do 15 minutes on the treadmill, then get to weights. So I do free weights. I do like the machines. I do kettlebell. You really can't target an area, but I do like, crunching and things like that with the weights. So you got to get on the weights, get on the machines, do the free weights, look up different exercises to do with lifting. And that's why, like, really, like up here, I don't have a lot of weight up here like I am typically, like I usually do. I still got a little bit to work on, but but even my back, like a couple years ago when I was dealing with these issues, like they talk about big back and all that, but like my back is slimming down. It's always gonna take longer for the tummy to go, but like once you get everything together, like weights really help you get it together. Weights help you do full body workouts. So look up different workouts to do that fit your schedule. Get some weights for home. Like I need to up the weights that I have at home. I have a 15-pound weight, which is a little too light for me right now because I lift a little, like I can do more than that. And then I have a 10-pounder for like the lighter days. But I plan on getting a couple more weights and a kettlebell just to have at home, and use while when I can't get to the gym. So definitely stay on the weights. I talked about walking. Walking is really good. So like treadmill. But if you're at home, like I want to get one of those mini treadmill things because those are good just to get those steps in. Um, so walking is good too. Pilates, I hear so with my workouts, I'm doing a lot of stretching, and I keep looking at myself, but I should be looking at the lens. I'm doing a lot of stretching. I'm doing a lot of like pelvic floor exercises. I'm doing uh some kind of yoga style stuff in it in my stretching. So those are those. That's my video about getting older because I'm almost 40. But yeah, like weights is so good. Lifting is so good for getting that belly fat off and that fat in other areas off too. And I hate to say fat, like, but it is really. So second thing is changing your diet, and that really should go first. But I think sometimes when we work out, it's easier to change our diet because we're more conscious. There's some times when you're not going to be able to make it to the gym though or work out, and you have to discipline your mind. That's the biggest thing for me. Like I love sweet and I love savory, and I work a job where I can get stressed out easily. So food can be a comfort to me. So I totally get it. But you have to be disciplined in your mind enough to make those good choices in the moment. So everybody talks about, oh, you got to eat right, you got to do this, you got to do that. But first, you have to make the choice. So, like for instance, I'll be driving home, and I know I'll have food in the house. Like I do my chicken for my protein, and I'll have veggies or like my salad and whatnot. And I might do some like black beans or like, corn every now and then, but I love my greens, my green veggies and all that. But and then I'll pass by a restaurant as I'm driving home, and I really have to say, nope, Danielle, you don't need that. And I'll come home and warm up my chicken. So making sure that you have food in the house that is um, whatever guidelines you set for yourself. Whether it's okay, I'm gonna focus on protein through chicken and fish and have my veggies. Make sure you have that food in the house, because then you'll set up the excuse, well, I don't have food. And I need to go shopping today. I think I might do an Instacart because I do need to get some groceries in the house. Um, but when you're shopping, try to make sure you cut down on all the junk so that you can replace it with healthy things. Like, you know, the little baby carrots are like sometimes my go to snack, or the Smart Food popcorn. I'll go for that sometimes, or like the Skinny Pop. So changing your diet is so important. Um, Now, I don't want this video to be too long. There's so many more things that you can do, but I'm gonna give you two more things. The first thing is I'll stick with diet. So intermittent fasting. Some people call it intermediate fasting. I don't think that sounds right to me, but I call it intermittent fasting. It's basically when you are not eating for a certain period of time. It may be 12 hours, 14 hours. Some people go up to even 16 hours. And then you're eating for the other like 8 hours of the day, or the other 10 hours or 12 hours of the day. So some people, what is it, 12? Some people might do 14 not eating, 10 eating, right? Or 16 not eating and 8 eating. So it's actually easy to do, but some people just aren't disciplined enough to do it. You really have to build that discipline. For instance, I go to work. I like leave for work. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be at work at like, let's say 7:30. If I stopped eating at 7:30 the night before, if I start eating at 7:30 the night before, and I pick up breakfast on the way to work and start eating at breakfast, that's only a 12-hour window. And so I stopped fasting once I start eating, and that's only 12 hours. However, if I stopped eating at 7:30 last night, I get to work at 7:30 in the morning, and I don't eat until 9:30 again, then that gave me 14 hours of fasting. Now, I might decide not to eat. I think I'm doing the math right. Not to eat until 11:30. That's 16 hours of fasting. I really hope I'm doing this math right. You see what I'm saying? So my window to eat would be 11:30 to 7:30. Now I could have stopped eating at 8:30. So that means my window wouldn't start until a little bit later. So maybe like 12:30. So 12:30 to 8:30 is when 12:30 p.m., sorry, to 8:30 p.m. is my window of eating, and then from 8:30 p.m. to 12:30, that might be my window off. So in lieu of eating, you want to drink your water and all that stuff. Some people drink tea without anything like sugar or anything in it. But typically, you're supposed to only be drinking water. And then when you come out of your fasting period, you're supposed to eat like fruit to break the fast. And then you can go into, like, of course, healthy food, but your regular routine of, like, let's say lunch and whatever. So some people's schedules, that time period may not work for them, but it works for me. So you have to find your time period and how much weight you want to lose. Is this is affecting the stomach. So this is what you're gonna have to do for us women with PCOS to get that stomach weight off. You're gonna have to do that intermittent fasting and do that healthy food, because you can't target that area when you're working out. That's what's going to help that midsection come off. And it's difficult, and sometimes it takes longer, especially as you get older and your metabolism slows down. But I guarantee, as people say they hit a wall sometimes with intermittent fasting, but it's like a lifestyle. It's less like, oh, I need to lose weight. And you can shed some weight if you're intermittent fast. Now, if you're doing low carb and intermittent fasting, you're going to lose a lot of weight. If you're doing keto and intermittent fasting, you're going to lose a lot of weight. But intermittent fasting is like a lifestyle. So, and I do it on and off, just like carb cycling. Um, I might one day do my intermittent fasting, and the next day just eat something light a little bit earlier. So it's just something that you want to more so be conscious of. I think that's the biggest thing. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is herbal teas. So what you want to do is find those herbal teas that actually help those hormones, right? So in my journey, I found that licorice root is good. Dandelion root, I believe is good. I don't do too much dandelion. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but chast tree berry root is good, and it's CHASTE. That's good. I said licorice, raspberry. Oh, spearmint. Spearmint is good. There are a few others. So find those herbs that are good for you to take and that directly affect those hormones. There are actually some natural vitamins that you can take now. I believe it's those that, um, like inositol. I think I'm saying it wrong. And Mayo inositol, like those vitamins. I do take those vitamins. I'm kind of slipping on my tea. I need to get back into it. But you can get tea that's already packaged, like with all that good stuff in it. Like there are teas targeted specifically for PCOS. I like to blend teas as well, so I'll buy like the loose tea and then put them in my little ball, my tea ball thingy, and I just have a little hot tea maker thing that I can put them in. You can get the bags to make your tea and do your mix. But yeah, so I do like anxiety teas too. So I'll get like St. John's wort. Is it St. John's wort? I said that right. And then I think licorice does help with anxiety. Lemon balm. So I'll kind of mix other things in it. All of these things are calming, and they actually positively affect those hormones. So tea, like I do your research though. It's just what works for me when I can think off the top of my head. Definitely do your research. Like you can literally Google tea that help with PCOS. Okay, and you can do that for any disease, really. High blood pressure, diabetes. Diabetes and PCOS are really interlocked because, and that one thing I forgot to talk about was that uh, a lot of women with PCOS can be like borderline insulin resistant. So the things that help diabetics can also help the things that can also help people with women with PCOS and vice versa. So like intermittent fasting does help with that insulin resistance, so people that are diabetic would benefit from it. So it's definitely some insulin resistant issues and all of that, and that's where the weight gain comes from, and that's where eating healthy is good and working out is good. So yeah, I forgot that was a big part of PCOS, the insulin resistant. So a lot of women who have PCOS are susceptible to possibly, becoming diabetic. So, or in that like borderline range. So yeah, so working out and specifically weightlifting is really, really good. Changing up your diet is really good. Introduce more veggies, lower your carbohydrates, put more protein in. Intermittent fasting is good. Figuring out what your ratio window is for when you're eating and when you're not, and making sure you have those healthy foods. And then, of course, the herbal teas or herbal vitamins that will positively affect your hormones is really good. So again, that was a recap. And you will notice that even if you don't have PCOS, these things are going to work for you. But these things are what has been working for me as a woman with PCOS, as a woman who's approaching 40, as a woman who is deciding not to take like medicines, right? So you will see a shift and a change in your physique. Again, like the herbal teas are really gonna help with not only whatever issue you're dealing with, the medical condition, but also your mental state. And I really have to get back on that because what you really want to do with that is just be consistent. So, yeah, all these things are things that I struggle with when I come to you and I talk about it. So it's definitely things that I have to, got to get back on the saddle a lot of times. But I'm doing pretty good with most of those things right now. But I just want to give you those nuggets. Again, very informal video today. This is our first health break that I, thought about. I thought it would be a good series to do because we all struggle, whether we're business owners or not. And when you're a business owner and you have a lot of stuff going on, you really have to be mindful about your health. So it's about the 25-minute mark. So I'm going to end this video. Again, like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.